Welcome back to another Pokemon Sleeper Sunday, where once a month we go through a ton of raw cards, graded cards, and sealed products that I think are being slept on. And we are going to do a little giveaway today. All you got to do is make sure you're subscribed. You got to hit that notification bell. You got to hit that like. Then you have to answer the question of the day. What Pokemon do you guys like better, Hitmonchan or Hitmonlee? And this card we are giving away today is sealed Mimikyu promo, which is going up in price. And the winner from last week's giveaway is at Tony Carapeza, who had over 100 comments on the channel, so I really appreciate that. But just shoot me an email and I'll get those cards sent out to you. And we do have to give a quick thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Platinum Protectors. If you guys need cases for any type of collectible, Platinum Protectors got you covered. Action figures, comic books, diecast, Funko Pops, trading cards, and video games. You can even hit them up for wholesale, and they're constantly dropping new items because Pokemon keeps changing the size of everything. The new Perfect Order booster bundles are like an inch taller than the other ones for some reason. And if you click my link in the description, you'll get 10% off your first order of $50 or more. And of course, you can click my link in the description if you're trying to submit to PSA for your very first time and use the code BEARD25. You'll get $25 off, which is basically a free graded card. If you want to try out tag, 10% off. Use the code BEARD10 if you click my link in the description. All right, let's get into it. So, of course, the ETB promos, I'm just going to keep putting these on here because they're literally $1 a card. And they're very nice illustration. It's not the most popular Pokemon, but these are legendaries. And these are just going to keep going up in price, especially if the ETB just keeps going up in price, which it will, unless we get massive reprints, which can definitely happen. But still, I'm talking $1 a card. It's almost risk-free for the Tornadus. And we have the Thundurus, which is going up in price a little bit, like 50 cents. But still, it's $1, $2 card. Very nice promos. And the Charcadet here, Mega Evolution promo. This one is about $2.20, so not too bad. And you got to remember, I'm going to say this always, but it's $1.31 in shipping, but you get free shipping on orders over $5 or more. That's why I always just order a few of them. It's nice to have doubles and triples of some of these cards. It's great for trading or maybe sell one off in the future. You got better odds of, getting a clean one that you could possibly grade also. But another really nice card. There's a ton of ETB promos that are very affordable that are literally around a couple dollars. Next, the Miraidon, a little more expensive, but this is the oldest Scarlet and Violet set. Miraidon, a pretty popular legendary for the newer people. I like Miraidon and Koraidon. It's kind of crazy to me that you get a legendary that you can just ride on the whole game. Got up to $8.10. But again, the older these ETBs get, the more expensive they get, and these promos will just keep slowly going up. Next, we have the Surprise Box Prismatic Evolution stamp cards. It's a mouthful. But anytime you can get all of the evolutions, all of the exact same card with the stamp that you can only get from one box, not a bad idea. Because once that box gets expensive, once it's $100, $150, $200 box, these cards are not going to be cheap. And almost all of them are $5 or $6 besides the Umbreon, which is at $18, up a few bucks because it was at $15 for a while. Next, the Blaziken from Destin Rivals I think is just criminally underrated, especially a lot of the cards from Destin Rivals are actually pretty tough to grade, and Destin Rivals is so expensive. It was $8. It's going up in price right now. Last sold for this, $9, $10, $8, $11. And the Team Rocket's Doug Triel from Ascended Heroes. I think this card is super sick. And we actually get Giovanni on there. It's a Gen 1 Pokemon. And Ascended Heroes is a very big set. And a ton of cards are going up in price. It's already up $1. Was at like $10. Now it's at about $12. Next, the Gold Star Greninja, I still think is super underrated, even though, it got up to $28 and now it's like $23. Celebrations is going to keep getting more and more expensive, and it's a Gold Star. It's not a reprint. This is its own card. And, it's Greninja, one of the most popular Pokemon, and it's shiny. You really can't beat it. Next, we have the Charizard V Max Sword and Shield promo. This is from the Charizard UPC. That is worth about $480. Now, it's selling for about $45 to $40. You compare that to the Mega Charizard X UPC promo from the $200 UPC, and this card seems extremely undervalued. Next, we have the Charizard V, which is on the move right now. This was at about $35. Now last sold $53, $45, $42. But this one is just still underrated in my opinion. I love how it actually goes with the Charizard V from Brilliant Stars. This is the Aftermath, and you got Venusaur in there. Plus, it's the V. It's not the V-Star or the V-Max. You're just getting the regular Charizard, the regular Venusaur. Beautiful alternate art, and I can see this thing getting a lot more expensive. Especially, like I said, comparing it to that Mega Charizard X UPC. Next, we have the regular Mew number 8 Wizards of the Coast promo. There is a holo version. This got up to $17. Now last sold 6, 9, 4. 4 was moderately played. All the near mint ones are around $7 to $9. Still a super cool card. There is a ton of these, but still, when we're talking, $6, $7 for a really, really cool, beautiful promo. And then too, if you grade them, they're worth a decent little chunk in a PSA 10. Next, we have the Team Rocket's Meowth. This card recently just went up, got up to $25. Now sitting around 19 to 20. But I think this card is very special. I mean, we just got a new Team Rocket's Meowth, but there's outlines of a ton of other Pokemon here, including Charizard, Bulbasaur. This thing is sick. Plus, it's super old. It's Wizards of the Coast Black Star promo, so these are the oldest promos that you can really even get for Pokemon for English. But we got sales $18 to about $22. And here is all the Wizards of the Coast Black Star promos, so you guys can just see how cheap they really are. We're going from cheapest to most expensive. You can get the Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres. Those are like $14, $15 a card. Again, there is a ton of these, but still, they're very, very old. You got a super, super nice Pikachu. Even got a Holo Misty Seadra pre-release. It's all around $20 or less. You even got the Reverse Holo Entei from the movie. Market price $26. That's a super, super nice card. Next, we have the Gold Star Umbreon from Celebrations. This was at $111, dropped down to $62. Now last sold all around $80 to $90. I could see this card being $150 or a $200 card, in my opinion. The Gold Star Umbreon, the real one, is one of the most expensive cards in all of Pokemon history. And it's not like Charizard where it has 15 reprints. This is the only reprint of it. And that's the only Gold Star Umbreon that 99.9% of the population is ever going to own. Next, we have the Mega Lucario EXIR. I just feel like this card is just so underrated. And the Gardevoir just shot back up over $200, and I could definitely see this one doing the same thing. There's just so many different battles going on. Super realistic art. It's going up a little bit right now. It was at $151. Now we got sales at about $160. We even got one at $180 and $170, so it is going up quick. Next, we are on Collectr, checking out the Chinese exclusives. We got the Sylveon here. Still about a $50 card. Umbreon still very affordable, a little over $100. Eevee's like $40. Leafeon's like $40, $50. There's a lot of beautiful Chinese exclusives that are still very affordable. I'm collecting all of them, bunch of doubles, and I'm going to get each one of them in a PSA 10. And we have the Gengar. Gengar is actually going crazy right now. Every single Gengar card is just going to the moon. And this thing was $300 or $400 on release. Got down to $90. It's coming up right now at about $110. I could honestly see this thing getting back up to $200 with the way every Gengar card right now is just going insane. Next, checking out some PSA 10s. We got the Spiro from Mega Evolution. The card is very easy to grade. 1,500 in a 10, 720 in a 9. Beautiful Gen 1 Pokemon though. And you can get it for $39, which is super cheap. Next, we have the Arbok. A little bit tougher to grade, 1,600 in a 10, 1,600 in a 9. This is from Temporal Forces. Again, Gen 1 Pokemon, very beautiful. And it sells for under $100. Last sold is $80 in a PSA 10. And right now, every single Gen 1 illustration rare raw is going up in price. And we have the Liquiton from Temporal Forces. 1,400 in a 10, 1,500 in a 9. This got down to 72, but you can still find it for around $100. Last sold $120 and $115 before that. Next, we have the Kangask Kong. Just ordered myself one of these in a PSA 10, but 1,400 in a 10, 2,600 in a 9, so actually kind of difficult to grade. Beautiful Gen 1 Pokemon. No complaints with this card at all. And right now you can get it for around $110. I got mine for like $98 a couple weeks ago. Not a bad pickup at all. And then if you want something even tougher to grade, you get a card like Ninetails. 4,600 in a 10, about 11,000 in a 9. This was at $335, got down to $215. Now that's sold $255, and then we got another sale at $280. So if you can find this card, for around $250, not a bad pickup. I still think it's the most beautiful illustration rare we've gotten. Then of course you can even look at cards like the Gloom and stuff from Scarlet and Violet base set. And those cards are super, super tough to grade because the print quality was just the worst for these earlier sets like Obsidian Flames, but Obsidian Flames was a little bit better than Scarlet and Violet base set. Next, we have the Destin Rivals Booster Bundle. I put this on a few different lists the last, month or so when it was at $50, and now it's about $64, which is honestly still the same price as all the other booster bundles from pretty much all the other sets. They're all right around $50 to $65. And you've seen how expensive Destin Rivals is for all the other products. But remember, when you're buying new stuff like this, we can get a massive Destin Rivals Booster Bundle reprint, and these could drop down to $50 very, very easily. Next, we have the Legendary Warriors Premium Collection. This is something that's not going to get a reprint. And look at the pack selection. Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest, Lost Origin. Every set in here is a alternate art Sword and Shield set. And this box is massive, so if you're going to order it, make sure you have space. It's at $133. I've been telling people to buy it. Now that's sold $157, $159, $143. But this thing is super cool too. Its display is really nice. But yeah, not bad for 14 Sword and Shield alternate art packs. Next, we have the Chilling Rain ETBs. The regular ones are around 110 to 120. The Pokemon Center ones are like 170 to 175. But I believe these are the ones that are missing the extra packs. And remember, these Pokemon Center ETBs do not have promos, which does suck. But I still think they're kind of cool, especially they're kind of like the only Air Pokemon Center ETBs we got. And still pretty affordable. Next, we have the Sword and Shield regular ETB. So it's at $100. And I was screaming at everybody to pick these up. And now they're about $140. That's still not terrible. You know, these are eventually going to be $200, $250 ETBs. Just got to give it enough time. And we have the Ascended Heroes ETB. So I hate recommending newer stuff, but this is at 162, dropped down to 104, and now it's at 136. With how expensive the Destin Rivals ETB is now, and even how high Prismatic got, I could definitely see Ascended Heroes just, you know, keep climbing. But again, if it does get a reprint, it will come back down in price. So you do have to be careful buying this stuff. But I could definitely see this being a $200 ETB with this market, which is just insane. And last on the list, Sergeian Sparks booster boxes, another newer product, was at $278. Now that's sold $248, $250. Not terrible, especially if you do compare it to the rest of everything from the Scarlet and Violet era and how expensive even Phantasmal Flames is now at like $420 a booster box or something crazy, and Destin Rivals. So at $250 or $240, not a terrible pickup, and it is a little bit cheaper than it was before. And I always say, you know, buy the dips. I also need a few more for my collection, so I'm definitely going to be picking a couple up. But all right, that was this month's Pokemon Sleeper Sunday. If you guys like this content, want to stay ahead of the market, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. And I have an entire playlist with all of my vending videos, so if you guys could go watch those, I would really, really appreciate that, especially my newest one. It's my best one in my opinion, and it's about a 50-minute long video, so it took me forever to edit. And then, of course, you guys can support more Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube membership, all that. You guys know what to do. You guys are the absolute best. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you guys want to watch that newest vending video, click it right here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.